Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the Sideshow Exclusive Star Wars Captain Rex 1/6 scale figure. When it comes to your packaging, the Captain Rex comes packaged in these slender Sideshow version boxes that they seem to come with a lot of their Star Wars pieces, and featured on the front is Captain Rex. As for the side of the box, you've got yourself a really great profile of Captain Rex without his helmet, also showing you the interchangeable head that he comes included with. And lastly, the back comes with a similar enough image to what we saw on the front, though Captain Rex now is sporting another blaster in hand. Both blasters are included in this set along with the interchangeable head, a slew of other different accessories, all of which we'll show when we get the package opened up. The thing to note about the packaging is that it's magnetized, so you can just unhinge the flap here, open it up, and you've got Captain Rex on the inside and Star Wars Captain Rex on the interior. Spot's going to take a break and get this all out of packaging, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the Star Wars Captain Rex 6 scale figure, the Sideshow Exclusive. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned. The first thing we'll have a look at with Captain Rex is actually the exclusive itself, and that is the Clone Wars Captain Rex display stand. Down below it features Captain Rex, CC 7567, 501st Legion, Torrent Company. It also shows a tally of all the foes that have fallen at Rex's hands. The stand also has an adjustable neck at the back that you can adjust up or down depending on how you want to display Captain Rex, but it's a great piece to see included with the figure. Before Spot shows you the rest of the accessories, let's have a look at the figure itself. And the best place to start is, of course, his head. The head, as well as the rest of his armored suit, is very meticulously painted. Those tallies that we had to look at on the display stand are also featured on the side of his helmet. And you can imagine, again, how many foes have fallen at Rex's hands. Really nicely aged armor as well. It's not a solid white. It's nothing along the lines of a stormtrooper, as opposed to a stormtrooper who has a very clean, unscratched armor. Captain Rex definitely shows as if he's been in the battlefield numerous times. Along with an incredible paint job, Captain Rex also has an adjustable scope that you can raise and lower depending on how you want him displayed. Likelihood I'll probably have the scope kept up. You can see, but he's got tallies both on the left as well as the right side of his helmet. And to do a turnaround, you can see, once again, all that aged paint that they've put in the piece. I prefer it personally with the aged paint, the additional washes they put on it. If it was just a straight solid white with the blue on the front, it would look a little too clean for my liking. One thing to also note about the helmet too is that it is a detailed Captain Rex Phase 2 hybrid helmet sculpt. So it does have a lot more detail than some of the previous Clone War figures we've seen in the past. Sideshow, of course, is no stranger when it comes to alternate accessories, so if you don't prefer the helmet on Captain Rex, you can go with the unmasked Captain Rex head instead, which is also included in this package. I'm a little more to the wearing the helmet personally, but I got to admit though, the head sculpt on the unmasked alternate head is very impressive. The eyes have a glistening coloring to them, gives them a very realistic look to them, and instead of the darker hairs that the other clones have, Captain Rex is treated to a blonde hair treatment. Showing you a closer look on Captain Rex's face, you can see what I mean. The paint on it is very nice, but there's something about those eyes. They've got a reflection wash, like a wetter wash put over the eyes, that gives it a very realistic look. Changing the head is very easy. You're just going to reach to the helmet section, and be careful with the antenna. You don't want to put pressure on that. You want to make sure you be grabbing the helmet from lower on the socket. Pop that off, and then you can change that out with Captain Rex's head. And that is what the figure looks like with the unmasked Captain Rex head. again, matter of preference. As gorgeous as this head sculpt is, I still prefer probably going with the helmet rather than the unmasked head. And if you are wondering, you can't take the helmet and put it over top of Rex's head just because he has the socket in the helmet designed for the ball joint. It's not to say, though, that you can't have a little bit of fun and have Captain Rex holding his helmet in his arm, which, if I was to change it out to the human head, the unmasked helmet head, I probably would have had the helmet in his hand, because I think that's a great way to display the piece. Looking at the rest of Rex's body, what I love so much about the helmet is carried over for the rest of his armor as well. It's not a very pristine, not a very clean white surface. Instead, has a lot of scratches, a lot of wear, and a lot of dirt and debris painted on the suit. Sideshow is sure to include even the smallest of details, right down to the little tally marks written on his arm. But you can see how even the blue stripes on his armor have been worn and scratched away as he's been in the battlefield. Sideshow has taken the similar bodysuit to what Vader had and put armor pieces over top of it. Despite the fact that he has all this armor on it, it still allows for a lot of movability in the body, both in the upper torso as well as in the lower leg area. Other things on Captain Rex that give him that very distinct look versus some of the other clones is the pauldron with the front pouch. If you prefer, however, to have the pauldron removed, what you can do is just take the head and pop it off. You can take this whole section off completely if you want, and then just reapply the head. It gives you still a very serviceable looking appearance for Captain Rex, but preferably I would rather have the pauldron on him. Rex's armor also has a fabric comma skirt, which is only on the sides of the armor itself. The material that they used for the comma skirt feels almost like a rubbery leather material. It's a great material that they chose for that, and the outside of the comma skirt is stitched with this blue coloring that matches the coloring of his arms as well as in his helmet. One of the other accessories that comes included with Rex is an equally nice backpack. It has the same scratches and wear to it that the rest of his armor had. And I thought initially that it pegged into place, but I'm happy to report that the backpack just is magnetized. It sticks right onto Rex's back, no problem at all. The backpack really completes the look to an already pretty cool figure, but it doesn't stop there. His other accessories will include a DC-155 blaster, complete with the front section that folds down. And the paint on this is really nice as well. We've seen this piece before. I'm pretty sure it has been included with other 1/6 scale pieces from Sideshow. But as opposed to the black, which I'm almost certain we had before, this is almost treated to more a silver or gunmetal treatment. You also get yourself a pair of DC-17 hand blasters, which fit very well in his interchangeable hands. I'll show you guys that in a second. But also the DC-17 blasters can fit in the side holsters of Rex's belt as well. Depending on how you want to have them displayed, those fit very easily in these sides. You also get yourself another 11 interchangeable hands, and they include a couple of command gesture hands. These ones just happen to be flat palms. Flanking gesture hands. Yet another command hand. A pair of thumbs up hands, plus the hands suitable for holding objects. Rex also has a pair of crouching or action posed feet if you want to switch them out to the flat feet that he currently is sporting. But by far the smallest of all the accessories is that of the droid popper. This little small handheld grenade weapon is very similar in design to what we got with the thermal detonator that Leia used in Return of the Jedi. It's all silver in color with a little bit of blue on the front, looking as if the item has been activated and is now lit up to detonate. To change to any one of Rex's hands, by the way, it's very easy. You're just going to hold onto the arm socket and pop the hand off. And I find the easiest way to do that is as you're popping it off, wiggle it a bit so you don't put any stress on the joint. Then find the desirable hand and once again put that back into the socket by wiggling it and applying a little bit of pressure. With the sheer volume of different accessories you get included with Captain Rex, it's very easy to put him in some really awesome display poses. When it comes to his articulation, Captain Rex has a ball joint in the top section where it pegs into the head, but equally so he's got a secondary ball joint that's at the lower base section of his neck. That allows for a lot of movement in the not only the neck section, but also in the head. His shoulders equally have the same sort of fluent movement via the ball joint in the shoulder socket. He has a swivel in the bicep, a very nice double bend in the elbow, and a swivel and hinge in the hands. As for his torso also has that crunch, not really limited either by that armor that's on the front as well as the lower section of his waist. It doesn't hinder, it seems, any sort of movement in the waist, and luckily because his backpack is magnetized, even if it does come off, again, putting it on very, very easily. Legs are on a very forgiving ball hinge joint as well, allows for a lot of movement. The comma skirt stays completely out of the way, and because the holsters are attached to the skirt rather than to the belt, it doesn't mean that those holsters are going to hinder any sort of the movement either. Knee articulation is also present, a nice double bend at the knee, and finally a nice ball hinge joint in the foot. Though really I am still a purist and I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards the original 3 Star Wars movies as opposed to the Clone Wars, I really love this piece. The paint on him is exceptional, and I'm glad that they went again with that roughed up, scratched surface. It only really adds to the realism that Captain Rex has. The loads of accessories, the interchangeable hands galore, and the really cool exclusive display stand make this guy a must pick up. Captain Rex is slated for a February to March 2015 release and currently can be pre-ordered over at Sideshow Collectibles website. Today's collectible spot, we were looking at the Sideshow Exclusive, the Star Wars Captain Rex 1/6 scale figure. Stay tuned guys, Spot's going to have more videos heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.